her yerde batacak bir güneş vardır. Hep karanlık olmadan eve gitmek isteyen birileri vardır ama bazen de yürüdüğünüz dağlarda dönüp ne kadar mesafe kat ettiğinize bakmanız lazım. Karanlıkta evde dönme pahasına bile. Gözükmez çok. Aa, güneş açtı.
I know I'm not the face you expected to see, but my brother's not going to be here today until later because he's packing up because he's leaving today.
Welcome back. Don't worry, I'm driving safely.
We're gonna drive to Paphos, so we've got a long way ahead of us.
Just a quick update / recap of what happened after vlog 5. I spent the week in a different flat as my girlfriend came to visit me and we didn't have enough room at my parents' place. I didn't even have a bed. Spent the week here in Iskele. Basically just did a bit of chilling. I had an application to fill out which took like nearly 3 days. Deadline was today, so I had to do it. And then I obviously had the Trodos trip, which you will see about in this vlog also, or maybe the next one. And now we're driving to Famagusta. We wanted to go back to my parents' place and dismantle the home studio.
But he's not here yet. So he's not gonna be able to pack the studio with me.
Turn it into a practice room for my brother because we're playing a festival this summer in Cyprus and he's gonna be my drummer, so he needs to practice a lot. So we're gonna turn it into a convenient practice space for him, and I'll explain why we're dismantling the studio when we get there. So we'll see you back home. I think that we have a lot of time right now to actually go through a deep clean and an extensive process where we take all these cables, unplug everything, and clean up and rotate the desk and find a new setup and etc. etc. Plan today was to come a little bit earlier and basically take care of this space. But before I go into that, I want to explain why we're dismantling the studio and why we're turning it into a practice room for Arda. So at the beginning of this series, I'd said that I was moving back in with my parents and we were turning this into a creative space for me and my brother to work in. And although that was the case at the time, I'm going back to the UK. And there are a few reasons for that. A, I can't live here. Once you've moved out, you're at a certain age, I feel like it's too difficult. And B, I need to be back in the UK to be able to pursue an original music career. There's no lane for it here. There is no demand for original music in Cyprus. I would just be creating and creating and creating and never performing. And performing is a big part of my art. And C, I'll have loads of time to come back here. I want to come back someday, permanently. But for now, I need to be out there chasing the dream, and it's too soon to give up just yet. I'm going to be starting over, find a new job, find a new house, start networking, a new chapter in Manchester for me. I'm not looking forward to going back to a land where it's really cold and rainy all the time, but I am looking forward to getting back to... Right, all of you out. Out. Evet. Hiking maceralarımızın ilk bölümüne hoş geldiniz. Ben sunucunuz Çobi. Kod adı Ağaçe, kod adı Yannis. Karşınızda Ate, Aslı Tümer, kod adı onun. Diğer bir kod adı Leonidas. Ve arkamızda dünyanın en yavaş yürüyen insanı Mehbe, kod adı. Onun ismine gerek yok. Manzaramız bu. Mükemmel. Görüyorsunuz, anlatmaya gerek yok.
Harika.
1 saatte 2 kilometre bile yürümedik. Sizi bilgilendirmeye devam edeceğim. Güneş halen havada, kaybolmadık.
Eğer bizden haber alamazsanız, yani bu videoyu göremezseniz artık bulanlar son konuşmamızı dinlemiş olur.
Aynen.
Hi. It's a lazy Sunday, and let's turn the studio into a practice room. It may not look that bad. The drums aren't relatively close to the speakers, and I won't be hearing that well when I play them. I'm just gonna move the table, and then I'm gonna move the speakers, and I'm gonna remove the table, and I'm gonna make the speakers. Wait, did I say speakers? I'm gonna move the table, and I'm gonna move the drums. Table again, so I can make the speakers.
Evet, tekrardan hoş geldiniz arkadaşlar. 3 kilometreye vardık. Asım Tümer zemzem suyu dolduruyor. Evet, tad review alalım.
Yemek sudan bir tık iyi.
Bravo, çok iyi. Mert Besim orada muz yemeye başladı.
Tamam hayvan.
Evet, gördüğünüz üzere burada vahşi yaşam çok yoğun. Solunuza, sizin sağınıza bakarsanız vahşi Kıbrıslıları görüyorsunuz. Şu an hoparlörünü açtı. 45 dakika, 30 dakika dediydik. Aslında bete girmiştik. Ne zaman hoparlör açılır diye. Muz yerken müzik dinleme keyfimiz başlıyor. Buyurunuz efendim.
Bésame mucho. Bésame.
Transition.
Okay, so the table is a little more fresh now, but there are cables all around it, and there's... Alright, so as you can see, there's some cabling and some failed engineering. Okay, we're gonna move this. Wow, look at this. That is sad. Yeah, that is sad.
Evet arkadaşlar, gezimizin 5. kilometresine girmiş bulunmaktayız. Hava güzel, crisp. İleride kar görebilirsiniz ama ne çok soğuk ne çok sıcak. Geride kalan kısım güzeldi. Karşıdan gelen yabancılar var mesela. O yüzden duracağım şimdi. Evet, devam ediyoruz. Yabancılar dedi ki ileride kar görecekmişik. Yürüyüşümüz güzel. Çeşmemizden suyumuzu doldurduk. Devam ediyoruz. Ben manzaraları izleyerek, Mert Besim acelesi varmış gibi yürüyerek, Aslım Tümer de ikisinin arasında bir yerde. Az önce dedi ki çok mutluymuş. Allah hepinize mutluluk versin. İşte bu.
I don't know if you guys remember when in the first vlog we kept saying we might move the drums here.
Whoever's seated here can just walk over there to the drums.
But we never did. I think that might be the move now. I just switched into shorts.
Devam devam ediyoruz. Bu sefer kamerayı ben aldım. Çobi önde. Mert Besim en önde. Gördüğünüz gibi yine karlar devam eder burada. Birazdan daha çok görecek. Şu an biz 1500-1600'e yakın başladık yükseklik olarak. 1850'ye kadar yolumuz var. Büyük ihtimal orada bol bol kar görecek zaten. Şansımız varsa muflonla görürük. Mert Besim çok heyecanlı çünkü.
Ne görecek bir şey?
Muflon.
Muflon da bayağı daha küçük. Daha küçük desene. Yok, daha başladı.
Yemek Kipriya gibi. Ne yapalım?
Ya gibi.
Kipriyago değilim.
Muflon değilim yani.
Ne değilim? Muflon değilim.
So the drums are gonna be there, but that is in the way, so we're gonna move that and put the drums there.
An abandoned mine, and you can see here that it says no elves allowed, so I guess we can go in. That's the mine. This is the view. Slightly snowy. We got quite a few more kilometers to go, but we'll try and film some more bits, mostly for us, but we'll include it in this vlog. So I don't know why I keep doing that, but we'll see you soon. Evet, bir durum güncellemesi yapıyoruz. Mine'ın önünden geçtik. Mine'ın değil, mine. Buradan bakınca gözüküyor zaten. Bir yerden. Benim telefon hakkı rahmetine kavuştu. Benim telefon öldü. Ay güneş. Ama devam ediyoruz.
That looks nice actually. They're pointing my way, and they're also pointing this way and that way. I mean, I'm not a sound guy. I think he'll have to approve of this. I don't know.
Evet, bir süre için son update'imiz. Yemek molası verdik, işedik, suyumuzu içtik, bloom içtik. Biraz oturduk, dinlendik. Daha doğrusu ben oturmadım ama dinlendik. Aslın da oturmadı. Bir tek Mert oturdu. Aslın şu an ölüyordu. Son update'imiz 6 kilometreyi geride bıraktık. 7. kilometreye girerken yaklaşık bir 5 kilometre daha yolumuz var. Artık günle yarışıyoruz. Gün batımına doğru hike'ımızı bitirmek istedik. Telefonumun şarjı %2'de. Biraz canlandı. Arabada şarj edip yolumuza devam edecek. Ve Vasako ilanındaki Airbnb'mize gidip check-in yapacak. Planımız bu. Evet. Aslında başka eklemek istediğimiz bir şey var mı? Bu update'e.
Her şeyi çok iyi açıkladı Ahmet. Şimdilik öyle. Umarım bitişte görüşecek hep beraber tekrar.
Evet. Çok da güzel bir viraj alıyoruz şu an. Bastonlu dededen görebilirsiniz onu da. Cayır dalarak gitmeye başladı. Görüyorsunuz. Evet. Yaklaşık 2 kilometre, 3 kilometre sonra gene bir update verecek.
I cannot wait for you to see this. It actually looks like a room now, like a proper room, and it looks really nice. I think we're done.
Evet, bir güncelleme daha. Gürda yürü, Kakopetria'ya geldik. Moonshine rising behind. Moonshine rising behind. Moonshine rising behind. Moonshine rising behind.
Right. I'm not in Cyprus anymore. I'm back in the UK. The last few days have been a bit... We haven't really had much time to create or vlog. More busy living, which is a good thing. But yeah, I'm back in the UK, and obviously there are a few things we need to explain. When I got on the plane in January to come to Cyprus, it was a one-way ticket. Because I didn't know how long I was going to be there for. I didn't know if I was ever coming back to the UK. I didn't know what the hell I was doing with my life, to be honest with you. But when I first bought the ticket, it was meant to be a 2-week trip, and then it was 3 weeks, and then it was a month, and then I just didn't know. And I thought, if I'm ever ready again, then that's when I come back. If. It wasn't a matter of me feeling ready, because I don't think you're ever ready to do something, but it was more like, I need to go back and, you know, keep pushing. This music thing is, man, I'll tell you what, it's difficult. So when we started these vlogs with my brother, I thought it would be a good way to hold ourselves responsible, accountable, if you will. I'm really proud of what we got to create, the standard we've achieved, and getting to write with my brother and my cousin, getting to write songs with them. I'll cherish that forever, and I'm really grateful that we'll have that footage forever. And we're actually really, really happy that so many of you guys are watching these vlogs and enjoying them. I used to watch way too many Casey Neistat videos. I loved his stuff. Good to kind of channel that influence somewhere. Me and my brother, we're very creative people. We love films, we love music, we love photography. So it was a way to kind of put all of that together in an attempt to, you know, channel that creative energy somewhere. It is difficult by default. Make of that what you will. It took me a while, but I finally have my own place. I can finally say, 6 months after I moved out of Hull, I now live in Manchester. The past 6 months have been incredibly challenging. I'm gonna avoid using the word difficult. Safe to say the past 6 months have been incredibly challenging. I was meant to start a master's degree in September, in Manchester. Everything went wrong. There were massive communication problems with the uni, all their fault. Apparently my course had already started before I even got a chance to move here. I was missing out on my lectures, I was missing out on opportunities to meet my course mates. I was falling behind, and I was paying a lot of money for this course. I was meant to pay a lot of money for this course, so I just dropped out. But that wasn't the only reason why I dropped out. The same week I found out that my course had already started and the university kind of forgot to let me know. The house that I was meant to move into got pulled off the market because the landlady said that she doesn't want any male tenants. The problem is, like, I had sent my application in like 3 weeks prior to that, and every time I called the agency they kept saying to me like, oh, it's all okay, don't worry, we're just very busy, we'll get to your application eventually. And by the time they told me that, you know, they never processed my application and the house got pulled off the market, I was already in a bad place with the uni, like I just said. So yeah, basically, like, everything went wrong within a week, even though it was like an accumulation of things going wrong behind the scenes without me knowing, because people didn't communicate. Literally, I made like a very quick decision in that moment where everything went wrong, and I said, F this, I'm not doing it. I felt like at the moment that these were just massive signs or red flags that I shouldn't, you know, be going into this degree. So I just dropped out. And I knew immediately, as soon as I took that decision, that I was getting into another challenge, because I had planned pretty much the rest of my year from September 2024 to September 2025, according to the fact that I would be doing a master's degree and I would be living in Manchester and pursuing that. And, you know, all of a sudden, I needed to make a new plan real quick. So I thought, you know what, I'll just find a job and I'll find a new place and get settled in Manchester, and I'll reconsider this decision, you know, when the time comes again. And that's it. Unfortunately, my bad luck in Manchester continued. I did find a job at the Christmas market at Piccadilly. Even though I worked with the best, like the most amazing people, management was questionable, which led to a plastic keg exploding on me. I forgot to mention, the same week a keg exploded on me because of negligence. Someone came into the shed, like one of the managers came into the shed where all the barbacks worked and threatened to fire us because business wasn't doing well. That was another moment where I felt like in my mind I made an immediate decision of, at this, I'm out. At the time, I was like doing house viewings like almost every day, every week. Like I would just go to a house viewing like on my lunch break or after work. I was really struggling to find a place in Manchester. In my mind, like it sounds funny because I shouldn't. This is a massive place and there should be a place for everyone, surely. But everything I looked at was either too moldy, too expensive, tiny like a shoebox, or just in a very, very shady area, or you know, you had to change like 5 trams to get there. And I was growing increasingly frustrated. As soon as I heard the massive explosion sound, I made a decision and I said, after Christmas, I'm going home to Cyprus. And as all of this was happening, time was passing, and so quickly. Like, there's a Jason Isbell song that says, it picks up steam after 21. And it literally does. Like, last summer I worked a full-time job that I absolutely hated. And I don't remember a summer passing me by so quickly. I don't ever remember time just being like so fast. And that was the case, like at the Christmas market. It was like 2 months I worked there. It just passed me by, and I felt like there was nothing I could do about it. And that is like even more anxiety inducing when you're in the industry that I am, when you're a musician, because all this time that's passing while I'm like trying to figure out what the plan is, trying to find a place to live. Months were passing by, and those are months that I wasn't, you know, being active, that I wasn't creating, that I wasn't gigging. And it just kind of, all of that accumulated and drove me to a place where I was just very, very depressed. But now it's spring, and I want to be more hopeful, because as I said, it's difficult by default. I have to keep reminding myself that I'm not the only person who's going through something right now. Everybody's going through something. That is just the default. You have to put the work in to realize your goals, your visions, your dreams. The work is not the difficulty. The work maybe is a challenge, but it's not the difficulty, because it's difficult by default. Everyone's climbing their own mountain and fighting their own battles, and mountains are there to be climbed anyway. Close your eyes and remember this. It won't be back again. It's almost gone. Even times that don't seem like much will be your only crutch when you're alone. Time moves slow when you're 17, and then it picks up steam at 21. Pretty soon you'll remember when you could remember when you loved someone. And the streetlights help a little, but they're barely half alive. And I don't feel much like walking. I sure as hell can't drive.
Evet, bir güncelleme daha. Yurda yürü, Kakopetria'ya geldik. Gördüğünüz üzere. Yol buradan devam ediyor. Aslında şimdi bakacak bizi nereye. Biz buradan devam edeceğiz. Gün artık karardı. Akşam oluyor. 6'yı buluyor. 5:30 oldu saat. Hava iyice soğudu. Bir an önce bitirip eve gidip makarnamızı yiyip duşumuzu almak istedik ama birileri halen grubu oyalıyor. İnanılır gibi değil.
Yok ayakkabı çözüldü, yok donu yırtıldı.
Ama devam ediyoruz. ATV'den buradayız. Ali Barbaros'u da analım. Grubumuzun önemli temsili Aslı'nın Tümerö'den. Ali Barbaros'u bugün özledik. Bir dahaki maceramızda bir Luriginal da aramıza katılacak. Mert halen daha gelmedi. Kapatıyorum. Sinirlerim bu. Evet. Aslı'nın yüzünü ışık parladığı zaman görebilirsiniz. Çok karanlık şu an. Arkada Mert var. Nasıl derler? Rehavetimizin cezasını çekerik şu an. Asfalt yolu gördüğümüz an grupta bir rahatlama oldu. Bitirdik sandık ama halen daha çok uzun yolumuz vardı. Güneş ışığını garantiye aldık. Son 1-1,5 kilometreye girdik. Pilimiz de hepimizin çok az. Bir an önce arabaya binip klimayı açmak istedik. Aslında yüzüne tut ışığı.
Şu an uzatmalar oynadık. Telefon şarj olarak yani uzatmalar oynadık. Üçümüzün de telefonlar gitti.
Rotamız belli en azından. Karda bize ışık oluyor. Kamerada göremeseniz de. Arabada görüşürüz.
So where does this leave the tie? You've got a mountain to climb in Paris now.
Yeah, but mountains are there to be climbed, aren't they?
Zemzem suyu dolduruyor.
Güzel bir yere geldik yani muhteşem.
Aşağıya kadar var.
Yani şu an mutluyum.
Evet. 13. kilometreye ulaştık. Çok gururluyuk aslında yüzüne senin yüzüne bayram. Çok gururluyuk aslında düşüncelerini alalım çok çabuk.
Gözükür mü?
Tüyleri kalktı adamın. İnanılmaz.
İnanılmaz.
Yıldızları keşke gösterebilsek size. Mert gene kuyrukçu.
Efsane.
Çok gururluyum.
Mert koşarak gel buraya seni çekelim.
Aslında geçsen ben. Okey. Evet son 8, 7, 6. Aslında ışık tutma çabuk.